Okay, it's April 5th, and it is time for me to delve into the first 3 cryptic performances of Dr. Jimmy this year. Now, this is now an annual thing where Dr. Jimmy gives us some sort of a cryptic statement, a word, a comment, or now a performance. Last year he was starting to do show tunes, and this year he's going to continue to do the same thing, tying in 3 potential houses or scare zones, or even shows for that matter, to the 3 performances that were mentioned the last couple days. Now, I want to mention my ideas for what these properties are. Now, granted, there are a lot of possible red herrings here that I'm seeing, but we'll see where we go there. And also, there's a quick connection to the first 2 Casilda clues which have come our way recently as well. It seems like Casilda disappeared for quite a bit, and now she's back with a vengeance, tying into Dr. Jimmy's cryptic comments through the performances. Now, let's talk about this, shall we? Now, the first performance that Dr. Jimmy threw out, still rocking that awesome black and white Panama hat, which is super amazing, was You'll Never Walk Alone from Carousel, Rodgers and Hammerstein's Carousel. It's also been performed by Jerry and the Pacemakers and a bunch of other people. The reason I know Jerry and the Pacemakers, honestly, is because of Wayne's World. I'm not going to lie about that. Now, he's wearing a Hogwarts crest shirt, the red and black shirt, and he says at the very end of the song, "Go Liverpool," or maybe not. Now, I'm going to mention what I think this could be, and then I'm going to mention what I think it actually is. Alright. This could be Poltergeist, something that no one's brought up yet. Here's the reason why. Poltergeist actually is a connection to another film that would never come to Halloween Horror Nights in a billion years, but it's something that I know a lot of us out there do enjoy. I know Dr. Jimmy probably is a fan. I have no doubt in my mind believing Dr. Jimmy's a fan. I'm pretty sure I've seen these posts on his Tumblr before. And that is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now, of course, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has a star in the movie by the name of a tremendous actor by the name of Sam Rockwell. Now, Sam Rockwell plays Zaphod Beeblebrox, and Sam Rockwell is also in the Poltergeist movie that's actually going to be coming out in theaters next month. So yes, You'll Never Walk Alone could be Poltergeist. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. That Sounds of the 25th, that cryptic, like 1 minute long black screen sounds video that a couple of us got. Yeah, Poltergeist was in there. A lot of rumors Poltergeist was coming to the event. Who knows if that's going to happen or not. But here's what I really believe it might be. Cryptic performance number 1 is The Walking Dead. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, oh man, not again, not for the 4th year in a row. First off, number 1, I don't have Walking Dead overload like everyone, because obviously in 2012, I did not get to experience that first House on the Disaster queue. Obviously, I love 2013's House in the Parade Building, and South Stage 25 last year had the biggest house in the history of the event, but I felt that you had to be a fan of the show in order to fully appreciate it, so I wasn't into it as much as I could. Now, I'm going to give a huge shout out to my good friend Neil, UKHHN from the Horror Night Updaters. He basically brought to my attention the connection to David Morrissey. Now, David Morrissey is the character of the Governor, and he's a big fan of Liverpool Football Club, apparently. That Dr. Jimmy said, "Go Liverpool" at the end of the video, or maybe not. Now, the song itself talks about a storm, which apparently in Season 5 there was a storm, and it saved everyone from the walkers. This is a direct connection to the first official Casilda clue, which was basically coordinates that turned out to being notes, music notes, to figure out the Walking Dead theme. So yeah, immediately, that's the first thing that jumps to my mind, that cryptic performance number 1 is The Walking Dead, and the return of The Walking Dead. Now, there are lots of rumors going around right now that this may be a door-run house. You gotta do something big, and you gotta do something outrageous in order to top even the biggest house we've ever had last year, and of course, the all park-wide scare zones, and the house on top of it. You gotta do something big. Dual run is something that's really big, but logistics, who knows if it could work or not, depending on where they put it. I have no way of knowing exactly where they put it at this point. I don't think you do it in something that they've already done, so I don't think it'll necessarily be in the parade building. I don't think that it's going to go to a sprung tent, which is a downgrade, but not really, because you can do amazing things in sprungs that we've seen in the last couple of years. But maybe another sound stage, maybe back to 25, who knows, it just kind of depends at this point. Walking Dead returning is my prediction, and if it's dual run, it could possibly be The Walking Dead on one side and the spin-off show, Fear the Walking Dead, on the opposite side. So who knows if that's going to happen or not. I guess we'll find out sooner rather than later. Cryptic Performance number 2 was something I know very well because I performed this play before, and that is Never Never Land for Peter Pan. Dr. Jimmy sporting a awesome Dracula shirt. Excuse me. Now, I will say right now that there's a lot of things that jump to mind right here. And the first thing that pops to mind is the fact that a lot of people are really, really wanting Doctor Who to come to the event. And this actually lines up. Now, this was lined up on Horror Night Nightmares. Basically, I have a place where dreams are born, time is never planned, i.e. the TARDIS, and the fact that the Doctor himself is a Time Lord. It could tie in with this out-of-the-box property that John Murdy wants to bring to Hollywood's event. And Doctor Who would definitely be outside of the box, literally outside of the blue police box. But I don't know. Last year, actually, Dr. Jimmy made a cryptic comment about tomato juice, and I jumped to the Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is now a legitimate speculation for this year. And who knows if the Lost Boys will actually come to the event. And, of course, the Lost Boys do have a direct connection to Peter Pan. And that makes perfect sense right there. Now, this also could be a nod to the storyteller. Elsa Strict probably will come back to the event. I don't know exactly what form it would take. Maybe a position in a best-of house, maybe a house of her own. I don't know. But what I think right now what this really is actually going to be the first legitimate answer from the April Fool's Day video. And I'm going to say that Cryptic Performance number 2 is the return of Scary Tales. Scary Tales 4, something that we haven't had for quite a while. And Dr. Jimmy alluded to this potentially being a British children's literature scare zone, and also definitely mentioned Peter Pan in this. So yeah, it was direct connection that was mentioned in the actual video. So is this going to be our Scary Tales 4 house? That remains to be seen. Could it possibly be a scare zone? I mean, this is a time of the year that 25th can be houses reborn into scare zones and scare zones brought into house form. You never know at this point. I do think the answer is Scary Tales. I don't know whether it's a house or a scare zone. I guess it kind of depends. I guess we'll see as we progress in Dr. Jimmy's Cryptic Performances to see exactly where that lands. So number 3, the Cryptic Performance was Bosom Buddies from MAME, and there's a lot of things that jump to mind. I'm laughing because I know what I'm about to do here. First off, number 1, I'm going to throw an immediate guess right now, 100% straight up. MAME performed by Angela Lansbury and B. Arthur. And Golden Girls are not coming to Halloween Horror Nights. So, immediately, I'm saying Jessica Fletcher. We're getting Murder, She Wrote brought back to the event for the first time ever. And the first time since the doors of the Murder, She Wrote Mystery Theater closed in 1996 to make room for the Hercules and Xena building, which got bombarded to make room for Transformers. Now, granted, that's not going to happen, but yeah, Murder, She Wrote. That's what it is. Another big one is Child's Play. Obviously, the connection to Buddy and My Buddy and the My Buddy dolls being like the good guy dolls. And obviously, Friends to the End. It makes perfect sense right there. Could possibly be maybe Bride of Chucky, potentially. You never know. I mean, I don't know if they would go in that direction or not, but I think it'd be interesting. I really do, honestly. So, another connection is obviously through Jack the Clown, and Jack the Clown, his strange relationship with his personal Harlequin Chance, and yeah, that could possibly be a connection right there, because obviously Jack the Clown, in all essence, is basically Mr. J. Yes, basically Jack the Clown is the closest version you're ever going to get to the Joker at a Halloween Horror Nights. That's a possibility. Rumors about the Krampus being all buddy-buddy with Santa Claus. Maybe that's a possibility. You never know. I mean, it's a good guess. So, then we've got the connection that my friend Neil UK HHN came up with as well through Hannibal and Dr. Jimmy rocking that awesome Panama hat. Obviously, a great picture of Anthony Hopkins that Dr. Jimmy actually had on his Tumblr at one point. Clarice obviously wants Dr. Lecter to tell the truth. It's connected possibly to the NBC show, or it could be connected to the Silence of the Lambs. Could be our From Dusk Till Dawn this year, given the fact that From Dusk Till Dawn was a very successful movie made into a television series. Maybe this is Silence of the Lambs by way of the Hannibal NBC series. Makes perfect sense. It's NBC and Universal are a collaborative. That makes sense to me. Hannibal was mentioned in early surveys, and Dr. Jimmy wore a very interesting Doctor Who shirt. Dr. Lecter. It could work. You never know. But here's what I think it really is. One word. Verses. Why? Here's the thing. Verses is something I thought this would be from the beginning. Now, granted, this song is pretty much leading us to a battle between two people. Frenemies, if you will. I hate that word, but it's a buzzword, and we're going to use it right now. That being said, what is this Verses? Well, given the fact it's the 25th, there's a couple options. There's been rumors for years to do the Body Collectors against the Nightingales. That would be awesome. That could possibly be this. And I talked about in November another Versus between Jack the Clown and Eddie. Obviously, I throw Chance in there, and I bring Jill back and have Jill go with Eddie and everything, and just do a colossal battle between the two. That's something I looked at. Could be another Alien versus Predator house. You never know. I mean, the first one was successful. Maybe we get a sequel to it. You never know. But it sounds to me like we're leading to something else that I predicted back in November. Something that I thought may have been impossible at the time. I'm not exactly sure that it is, and because, honestly, at this rate, a lot of you out there are talking about this, including my friend John, Second Massacre Films. He's mentioned this as well. And he went through Bosom Buddies to mean, obviously, the television series, Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari. Now, Tom Hanks is a part in archival footage of two horror documentaries, one being the Nightmare on Elm Street one, which is Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy, and there's one called Going to Pieces, which is the rise and fall of the slasher film. Now, apparently Hanks is archival footage in both. Now, Going to Pieces actually focuses on both Nightmare and Friday, so that's interesting. It's basically a battle, like, the song itself is pretty much like trading barbs with one of your best friends that may not necessarily be your best friend, and using stinging jabs and basically using your sharp wit. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. But is it possible? Really? Something I called in November? Another thing I called in November? If you're noticing right now, I have become a prophet, because so far, if everything lines up the way I'm thinking it does, all three of these things are things I talked about last year. So, I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to get really giddy that if my lineups are right, then I'm going to be really happy come September 18th, so, or 16th, if I can somehow get into preview night again. Hopefully that works out. So, what am I saying? Obviously I'm saying that Cryptic Performance number 3 sounds like it's leading to Freddy vs. Jason. It's interesting because this seems like something that no one thought would happen. I mentioned it. A couple other updaters mentioned it. But it was one of those things, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, New Line's got the rights to Freddy, and Paramount has the rights to Jason Voorhees, so, and can they coexist? I mean, will people believe there's going to be a sequel to the movie if they do The House? Like, that was the original problem back when the original House was coming out, back at 17. But yeah, when Freddy and Jason were going to cameo in each other's houses at the end, New Line was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to make people think there's going to be another house. Then, of course, you have the Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash type storyline that everybody likes to talk about. And then you have the Ash vs. Evil Dead storyline that actually is being brought to television very soon. So I think we probably will see Ash for the first time in an Evil Dead house somewhere down the line. Probably just as soon as the next couple of years, if I had to guess. yeah, that's what I've got right now. There's a lot of different things that possibly could be. But I think as of right now, I think I'm going to settle on this. Cryptic Performance number 1 is The Walking Dead. And any ones that don't want it, I guess you just have to deal with it, and we'll see what happens with it. Cryptic Performance number 2, I think it's Scary Tales. Scary Tales 4 is my guess. House or Scare Zone, not sure. Maybe Dr. Jimmy talking about it being a scare zone is a red herring to get us to know that we're getting another house. I don't know, possibly. I talked about it being a house back in the day. You never know if it's going to happen or not. And I think Cryptic Performance number 3 is actually going to be Freddy vs. Jason, which is interesting because Casilda brought up another clue. And the clue actually is... Let me read this here. Paternal Stygian gift, trip across the dark rift, absent in the world of night, filled with horrific sights. Evil encroaching, or encroaching, if that's even a word, as apparently spelling errors are also work for people that are from the occult, around, you will never be found. Yeah, this sounds like Insidious to me. Something that's really interesting that if this is the case, that when we got this video that people created when everybody was saying Friday the 13th was coming back, and we had the 2009 Friday the 13th and the Jackie Earl Haley Nightmare on Elm Street and Insidious, everybody was thinking, nah, that's fake. Well, it was fake, but I mean, maybe they'll still come to the event. Obviously, if Dr. Jimmy is telling the truth and this is the correct answer, then maybe, just maybe, we're leading to that. Who knows? And that means I have to grin and bear it and realize that Insidious was going to come sooner rather than later, and now I have to deal with it. But apparently, from what I heard, when they showed the bit of footage that this movie stands alone by itself, you don't have to watch the first or the second film in order to get into this one. So it could be interesting to see what we actually would get if we would get Insidious brought to our event this year. Whether we get anything like the Hollywood Maze that was oh so successful, or if we get something completely different. You never know. I guess we'll have to see to find out. So this Casilda clue led me to Insidious, so it makes me think that Dr. Jimmy is going to be bringing up Insidious sooner rather than later. Since last year, they seem to be kind of neck and neck exactly what we're going to get at the event. So who knows how many scare zones? We don't officially know a number of houses yet. So who knows how many Dr. Jimmy performances we're going to get? Are Rocky Horror going to come back? Who knows at this point? Obviously, Bill and Ted is a given, but what else is going to happen? I guess we're just going to have to continue to watch the awesome Panama hat of Dr. Jimmy and find out for ourselves. So that being said, real quick, I want to give big shout-outs to my friend John Psychomassacre Film, my friend Neil UKHHN for putting out some great videos, and they've continued to put out some great videos. There's also some awesome updaters that haven't yet put out videos on this topic yet, but I'm sure they're going to sooner rather than later. My friend Matt HHN Trogdor, the Horror Nights Updaters is a collective. I'm sure they're going to do another podcast, and hopefully I'll be a part of it this time around. My friend Vic, Dr. Emmett Brown 1, the Red Steel TV, Deadly Fear 1283, Mr. Horror Nights, my friend Tristan, HHN Fan 16, Crazy Englishman, First Class Horror, and Horror Squad TV, and of course, a big shout out to the incomparable Dr. Jimmy for his Cryptic Performances. If you'd like to check out some Halloween Horror Nights related forums on the internet, you can also check out Horror Night Nightmares as well as Orlando United, and also some great HHN related sites, and also haunt related sites such as HHN Crypt and DesigningFear.com. Plus, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. If you'd like to follow the Halloween Horror Nights Twitter account, it's at Horror Nights ORL. Or if you'd like to show your appreciation for this channel, please just take a second to go to Facebook. Click like on our Facebook fan page. It's under Sir Owen Disney Pop, or Sir Owen Disney and Pop if you want to search for it. Friend request me at Owen Disney, or you can email me, SirOwenDisney@gmail.com. So in the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching, and we await Cryptic Performance number 4 and beyond. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.